Hello and welcome to the TheKnitGirlls. This is episode 448. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is August the 8th, 2018. It's been almost a month since we've recorded. I feel like it's an AA meeting. Hello, my name is... And I don't mean that in any derogatory way. It's just part of the way that those meetings go. It has been X days since my last confession. We could also throw the Catholic Church in there.
There you go.
This bodes well for this episode. It's going to be amazing.
This is smidge rambly. So, Leslie had a medical emergency.
Yeah, well,
we got back from SSK.
We got back from SSK. We knew we were taking the week of SSK off because there's absolutely no way that we can record a podcast and host a retreat. And then the week after, we weren't sure whether we would record or not, but...
we wanted to because Amy Florence was here.
But I had an issue with a tooth that continued for 10 entire days that made me miserable and unable to work, and I couldn't spend time with Laura or Amy.
And you ended up in the ER, which is like...
Several appointments, a surgery, and an emergency room. Not necessarily in that order, but I'm on the mend. I'm not completely... I'm about 75% back.
That's better than where you were, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I went like 10 solid days without crafting anything.
Or eating anything.
This is true. Mostly liquid diet for a while. Didn't help, but anyway, everything's fine. It was just sort of a perfect storm of things, and it made us not be able to record. Yeah. So sorry about that.
Couldn't talk.
But we're back now.
We are. Would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Totally up to you.
I don't care.
Why don't you go then?
Okay. I am knitting on a pair of toe-up socks that I cast on the first day of school. And these are using Desert Vista Dye Works in her Color Accent series, which is a series that's always available in her shop.
Oh, yeah.
So this one is Grape. This is my last of her color accents. A couple years ago at SSK, I bought, I think, 4 different ones.
You had a lime one and an orange one.
And a yellow. I don't know that I had orange.
No,
but
Jess
I had
knit me some with orange.
Lime and yellow and grape and blue, I believe, like a turquoise maybe. And so this is Desert Vista Dye Works. It's her old tag. It's Color Accents in the grape. It's a self-striping. And it goes... This one is kind of like a bluish purple, then a gray, then black, gray, black. And it just continues that stripe sequence. And this is her, I think it's Zien base, Z-I-E-N. Zine, maybe?
I don't know how to say it.
So it's got sparkle to it. I'm knitting these on my poor Addy Turbo size 0 sock rockets that have, I feel like, been through the ringer. They're a little bit wonky in many ways. They're not straight anymore.
Well used.
They're well loved. Well used, like, in a year, I think I got these ago. I've, like, worn off the coating on them on multiple spots. Always down towards the end, which is interesting, and then at the tip.
Does your palm rust against the edge?
I don't know.
When you knit? That
probably
might explain it.
Could be. So these are size 0s, and I am through the toe into the foot. I'm just doing a plain vanilla sock. I'll probably do a Wendy Johnson heel or some kind of toe-up heel. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, so those are on the needles and getting worked on, and they're living in a fat squirrel bag. Here's the cake of yarn so you can kind of see what that looks like. It's got some glitter to it, which makes me happy. So those are being knit up, and they're living in my backpack and go to work with me, and when we have like a meeting, they've been getting some love then. And then other things still on my needles. I actually have 4 things on my needles right now. I
want to have like, I told Laura, and I need to do it this weekend, just cast on like 10 things, because I have all the mojo right now. And then that way I won't have to make a decision. I'll always have something to pick up and knit. That's cute. That's a Lola bean, right?
Yeah, this is a Lola bean, and it's her DK weight, and it is, I'm trying to think if
it's her daughter's colorway, isn't it? I thought.
Oh, I don't have it up there. This is the Entrechant. For some reason,
yeah.
I don't have it up on the show notes. I'll have to add it. I thought I did, though. Anyway, it's Entrechant, and it's the Queen Bean colorway, I think. Let's see if the tag's in here. Nope. It's Queen something. I think it's Queen Bean.
I think it's Queen Bean, yeah. Because it's after Lola, right?
I don't know.
I thought that's what you told me, but maybe
No,
not. Maybe I just made that
so.
story up in my head.
You might have. So, I knit little baby mitts, the teeny tiny knit mitts, out of this, and I'm using the rest on Entrechant. And this is being knit on size 5 needles. And it's going, I'm almost through. I think I have one more repeat to get to the actual like join section where the slip stitches start happening. But it's really pretty colorway, and I've just been picking it up when I'm kind of in between projects or don't have the brain space to knit what I was knitting on. And it's got a truffle shuffle, which I don't think is her name anymore. I think it's Sugar Plum Circus. Yeah.
Oh.
Little stitch marker. So yeah, she's dyeing yarn now and kind of rebranded.
Cool.
Yeah. So that is happening. And I'm enjoying it, and I have that on my signatures that are a little bit bent because Humberto bit one, so the tip's a little like...
And these aren't weenie needles. They're, I mean, pretty good, strong needles.
Humberto had strong teeth until the end.
I mean, like, the signatures went through somebody's hand, didn't they?
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like I remember that picture, but they might have been the straights, though, like not the circulars.
I have no idea. They have never gone through one of my hands.
They've gone through my bags before.
Oh, yeah. So have my Addies, though. And this is a Whimsy Stitches bag. Happy Trails that I bought at SSK a couple of years ago.
I was going to say, that doesn't look like a current style. It must be an older style.
Like
just with the string versus...
The drawstring.
Yeah, how he does it now.
Yeah, he does a lot of, like, clear plastic and some other things as well. And then, in another... I'm, like, in the camping bag type mood. This is a Bear in the Woods. This is an Amy Beth Fat Squirrel bag. Though it might be a bit too small for this project, actually, now. This is the Stevie out of Barocco Remix. It is an Aran weight yarn that's mostly acrylic, silk, cotton blend. It's all recycled fibers. I'm knitting this on size 6 needles. Here's the top. It is 16 inches from the armpits at this point. I need it to be 19. So it's slowly getting there. It's got this, like, eyelet.
Increases?
They're actually decorative. They're not increases.
Oh, okay.
That occur. And then every, 10 rows or so. The pattern calls for 8, but I'm adding length to the torso. So Gwen and I did some math and figured out instead of every 8, every 10, because we didn't want me to have, like, a circus tent going on. We're adding... There's increases that are done between the body of the stitch markers. So the eyelets are just decorative. It's fun. It's super cute. It's meant to be cropped, but I'm adding quite a bit of length. And then after I finish the body, I'll pick up for the neckband and then see how much yarn I have left. And I'd like to do 3/4 sleeves. Right now I'm on... I had 7 balls to begin with. I think the pattern called for 4. In the cropped length, maybe 3 in my size. This is what's attached. And then I have 2 full skeins for the sleeve, so 1 for each sleeve.
Yeah, it should be fine.
And then, like half a ball left over from the top.
I feel like we're always playing are we going to have enough yarn game with you?
I know. I knit sweaters that consume all the available yarn. So while this pattern called like for 3 or 4, I'll probably use all 7. But I am adding a substantial bit of length. And that's being knit on my Lick-O-Needles. Another Sugar Plum Circus. Little guy.
Octopus.
Yeah.
They can't see that. That's way too tiny. There you go.
Yeah. He's hanging out. He's my beginning of round marker. So yeah. Oh, and then one last thing. Lots of things being worked on.
Lots more being worked on at Laura's house than was being worked on in my house.
Well, there's that. This only got 2 rows on it, so it's not super exciting, but it did get pulled out.
Yeah.
This is Even Star. Let me grab it by the needles. So this has been a work in progress for in September it'll be 2 years. I'm trying to get it done by that point. We'll see. So I'm all the way into the last body chart. I have around 20 more rows to go. And of those 20, I think only 5 are lace.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because there's like a garter edge that gets added on.
I don't remember, yeah.
And then there's an additional edge that goes sideways.
I felt like once you got through the arch, though,
yep,
the
I'm through the arch.
Over. Yeah.
So the arch ended right here. So I'm a good way past that. And I'm just making my way through this last little bit. And then I'll start going. I have 2 more stitch marker moves. Like where you actually have to remove the markers and shift them. And so after those, I'll really feel like I've made some progress. This is out of my hand spun. So I spun the yarn for this a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And this little Jelby guy has been like a lifesaver. This is a Stitch Stopper by Jelby. It's a soot sprite. And they go on the end of your needles. And Pearl the other day, I was like, Humberto was usually the guilty one of pulling stuff out. Well, Pearl pulled this across the room. And luckily this guy was on. And Humberto and Pearl have pulled the Even Star across the room probably 5 times. But this guy has saved it every single time. Where the stitches have not fallen off. Because Jelby is amazing. So this is what's left of the yarn.
I don't know. I think you're amazing for spinning that 1,700 yards out of, what was it, 8 ounces?
Yeah, I think 8 or 10. So this is what's left. I think I'm going to have plenty. And then the beads I want to use are these. They're not the beads that I originally swatched with. But I think they'll look really pretty. They're like an iridescent purple. So, those 2 things. I'm curious as to what else is in here. Oh, this is it all laid out. For some reason I have the front page. It's a Susan Pandora pattern. So yeah. I'd like to get it done to take to Knitting at the Estate so we can photograph it at Knitting at the Estate, because I feel like this is a Knitting at the Estate type project, but
Knitting at the Estate is a retreat that's in somewhere Illinois.
Yeah.
Hosted by Leading Men Fiber Arts.
Yep. But I'll have 3,000 beads to put on and blocking to do.
I've done it. I know.
Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see. We'll see how much I can get done. This is living in my Chicken Boots project bag. And she sadly doesn't make any bags anymore.
Nope.
But she does sell the patterns now on all the bags to make them yourself.
I don't think they're all the patterns are live yet.
Okay, because she was working on... She just got more that she released.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that one, though. Because I follow her as she does. She has a sewing channel on YouTube where she sews garments and does it live where you can talk with her.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Sew Live, I think.
Yes.
SEW.
That is correct.
She has an interesting name. What is it? I can't remember her actual human name. Is interesting, but I can't remember what it is now.
No, think about it.
It'll come to you.
It will. If you hadn't asked me,
I know.
I would know. But yeah, so that's living in my little Chicken Boots bag, and hopefully I'll try to get a little bit of progress on it. I was hoping to get a row done every day, but I got the first 2 days of August done, and that was it.
Well, plus school just started here, so Laura's been working some very long days. in prep for school opening, and then first part of school is always super busy.
Yep. So today was the second day with kids, but I've been back for a week now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been back for like a week paid, but before then I was working up at the building. That is it for me on the needles. What I'm working on. What are you working on? That's really pretty, that toasted marshmallow.
So when I sort of got over the hump of being very ill, I didn't want to screw with knitting on Weekender, which I'll show you in a minute, because I just had a sleeve left, and I just didn't feel like screwing with it, so I cast on something new.
But also your gauge might have changed, with being sick or whatever.
I just didn't want to screw with it, to be honest. But I had ordered this specially from Rock and String, this yarn. So I swatched it, this little bitty swatch, and this is what it looks like. This is Rock and String's Sport Weight in the Toasted Marshmallow colorway.
That is the teeny tiniest swatch.
Well, it's not. It's just folding in because I didn't actually wash it. So if this doesn't fit, it's my fault. But whatever. We all know that happens. Like every other sweater is a dud for me. But, I'll take it. So, anyhow, this is the yarn in the skein. It's sort of a creamy color with pops of that sort of
toasted marshmallow brown.
Yeah, sugar, like
burnt sugar.
Caramel color, yeah. And I'm knitting, I don't have the pattern printed out, but it's a Lounging Top by Joji Locatelli.
Yeah.
I plan on knitting a couple of them actually, one in fingering and one in sport. It's very simple, sleeveless shell. There's not a lot of shaping in it. It's kind of like a boxy without sleeves, and slightly less ease. Just a very simple shell. So that's what I'm knitting, and this is the back of it. So you knit the back, and then you knit the front, and then you join it under the arms and go down.
That's how
and knit for years and years. Yep. So
it'll go faster in sport though than fingering.
Yeah. I'm happy with it. The yarn's very nice to work with. No complaints so far.
What size needles are you using?
7s.
Oh, wow.
And that's actually what the pattern calls for.
Wow.
So I feel like the thicker the yarn, the closer I usually am to the needle size. I don't know why that is, but... So the other thing that I'm working on is the Weekender. This is out of Cloudborne's, which is Blueprint / Craftsy's yarn line. This is the cotton, the Pima DK.
You're almost done.
So, yeah, there's like fuzz and crap all over it. So I finished this sleeve. I don't think I have shown it since then because I feel like...
I don't think you've shown it. You were working on the neck. Or, not, you hadn't even joined in the round last time you showed it, I think. Like, you hadn't separated last time.
Well, anyway, I don't remember. But, so, one sleeve is completely done, and then I'm working on...
And this is inside out, right?
Yeah, this is inside out. When you finish it, it's got this line of slip stitches that show on the wrong side. Well, that's technically the right side, but yeah, you knit side out so you're not constantly purling.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. So I'm on the second sleeve. I've got maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe 10 inches to go, something like that. Maybe 8 inches before I start the ribbing. So ideally I'd like this finished by the next time that we record, which shouldn't be too difficult. A few episodes of something should get me through it.
We still have Queer Eye to finish watching.
Yeah. I do like that this has tubular bind-offs. So there's it's very seamless looking. Makes me happy. So that's Weekender.
I don't think I've ever done a tubular bind-off.
It's basically rearranging stitches and then doing a Kitchener.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know that I enjoy that.
I mean, the only struggle really is making sure your tension is even. Aside from that, it's not really a difficult thing to do. I think I'll leave that there and just keep
That's in your hide and hammer bag.
Yes, right? I've been using the crap out of this bag. So, when Amy Florence came before SSK, she brought Laura and I gifts, and one of those gifts was a bag, and it's from this company called Hide and Hammer, and it's a UK lady, and she makes these bags that if I'd seen it online, I probably would never have gotten one, just because it's like aesthetically, it's not necessarily something that would jump out at me. It's not like, ooh, I'm the prettiest, you know.
Oh, I like it. I like it for its simplicity.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of different color options, and then different like fabric options. Like there's a waxed canvas option, I think. So it looks sort of like a paper lunch bag, and then it's got a handle here on the side, just a loop, simple loop, and then these straps here on the front
and the back.
Yeah, in the back, and so you can just cram it as full as you need to, but no matter how full it is, you just roll it down, whether it's a lot or a little, and then you can just
use the straps.
Yeah, you just use the adjustable closure strap here and close it as much as you need to. So it can be a little bag or it can be a huge bag, like when Amy Florence comes with hers, and they're like packed to the brim, and it's amazing what she can get in there. But anyway, I really like this Hide and Hammer bag a lot.
She's developing a needle case right now.
Yeah, and I think she's also looking at ways to produce more of them, because right now it's just her sewing.
Yeah.
All of them, and it's not a full-time thing for her.
Work.
So yeah. Anyway, this is not sponsored by Hide and Hammer. This was not sent to us for free. I just really like this bag. So. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. I have a finished object that Laura finished because she knit them for me.
So Leslie's birthday was Monday.
Yes.
And Amy Florence and I both knit her socks.
Yes.
So.
But since this isn't Amy Florence's show, although I could show hers.
Well, no, they'll never see hers on her show because she finished them while she was at my house.
I know.
Yeah. Excuse me. So this is Undead Yarn Company, the stripiness. This was done on a sock machine. Before I got my sock machine, Joe, who's our friend who attends SSK every year, she did some sock tubes for me with a folded hem. I'm too lazy to do folded hems. They're a lot of work. And so it's just a long tube. So I took the end and I unraveled it and then knit the toe. And then I snipped a stitch and inserted, this is some yarn actually Amy Florence gave me. She made me an advent calendar last year that arrived on like January 30th.
Yeah, she shipped it way ahead of time.
Like November 1st and arrived like January 30th. Yeah. So this was part of my advent, and in the middle of all my advent balls, they're like 20 grams, she put Kinder Egg toys. So she wound them around Kinder Egg toys, which was amazing.
I just want to see how long I can hold this in front of your face and you not mind, because I keep moving it to be in front of your face.
Oh, okay. I didn't even notice. So that's a true afterthought heel that I put in, and that's it. I wanted to do a variegated heel because I thought it was cool. I did actually have some green yarn that matched this from Dramatic Knits, Leading Men, pretty awesomely, but I thought the contrast of the variegated was pretty cool.
So let's show you the ones Amy knit for me.
Yeah.
So, and these were both cranked on a machine, and then
afterthought heels put
afterthought heels. It looks like Amy did
and
ribbing and toes.
Yeah.
In a contrast. So this isn't technically Amy's show, but...
And Amy Florence has a great show. It's Stranded Dye Works. But she also dyes yarn. She's based in the UK.
Until we can find a way to get her to move here. Legally. Immigration is a real pain, apparently. Unless you have someone...
Yeah.
That you're married to that is a citizen. So these were... I have no idea what the yarn is, but they're pretty.
I think they're Vesper knitterly things. I could be wrong, though. And then she did heels, toes, cuffs in a contrast.
So 2 new pairs of socks for me with 0 effort on my part.
Yay.
Yay! I'm very spoiled. I'm very happy.
Did you finish anything else?
I finished a pair of cranked socks as well, but I've worn them and they're in the dirty laundry somewhere. Oh. So...
What yarn did you use for that?
The Planned Parenthood colorway from Old Rusted Chair, who we got to meet at SSK, and she is a lovely human being.
Lauren. Yeah, she's super sweet.
So, so I finished those.
Rebel Girl is the name of that colorway.
Yeah. And it had a contrasting color heel included, yarn included. So.
And she puts like 10 skeins up once a month, if you follow her on Instagram, she lets you know when that is. And part of the proceeds go to Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, and as I understand it, she's a really strong advocate for Planned Parenthood as well as many other charities.
She's a reader/walker for Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, and
in her area.
I talked to her briefly, and she basically dies to support, to be able to do things for Planned Parenthood.
Cool.
Like that is her mission.
Is to give back. Yeah, good for her.
Because I was trying to talk her into vended SSK, and she was like, "Yeah, that's never gonna happen."
She does sell yarn though at House of Yarn, which is amazing, and on her site as well. So, finished objects. I did those socks. I also have 2 other pairs of socks that I finished. Pull them out. I finally finished those Rose City rollers. Oh. And all the ends are woven in.
Wow. I didn't even weave in the ends for my Planned Parenthood socks.
See? And I have a smidge of blue on one that is not on the other, but that's fun. So, we have so many pairs of blockers, but do I have any with me? Nope, I forgot to bring them.
They're right back there.
That's okay. So Rose City Rollers version from the toe up, I kind of used a Wendy Johnson heel on it and just bound off after that. This is Knit Picks Felici in the dark side colorway, knit on size 0 needles, those needles that are all torn up that I just showed you. So those are done, and then when I finished those, I started for A.E. Hull, a pair of non-Euclidean socks, and the Downfall colorway, which is a movie, I guess.
I love that color.
I do too. I actually have enough for Rose City Rollers for me left over if I do alternate.
What's the
heels, toes, cuffs.
Who's the dyer?
This is Desert Vista Dye Works.
Okay.
And this is that non-Euclidean heel that forms the triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And A.E. Hull has pretty tiny feet.
Yeah.
Like, I think this was 56 stitches around. So it went fairly fast. So this took 50 grams of yarn. And I have 50 grams left over for a pair of socks for me. So I can do shorty socks with, like, different toes and heels. So I'll probably do, like, an afterthought heel or something on those. So yeah, I like those a lot. So those were my July socks for her. I'm going back to doing her monthly thing.
Her being Desert Vista.
Yeah. Because if I do 2 more pairs, then I'll get a free skein. So yeah. Because I had already done 3 pairs this year.
If you're interested, Desert Vista Dye Works, just go to her group.
Yeah.
There's all that stuff there.
For sure, on Ravelry.
Yes, on Ravelry.
And then the last thing that I finished is kind of a large thing.
Woo!
This is the V-neck boxy.
Look at that monster. You think we could both fit in it?
No. Well, we could before I reblocked it. I reblocked it.
Okay.
The first time, so he says to block with the water left in, and it grew to almost 90 inches around.
Which is larger than Laura needs.
Yeah, so I reblocked
by about
it
30 plus inches.
Post SSK. I don't know what's going on here. I reblocked it post SSK, and it's around 65 inches around now, which is still a good bit larger than what I need. Well, but
it's closer to than what boxy should be then.
Yeah. And I'm not going to put it on today. I had Holly take a picture of me in it at Knit Night a couple weeks ago. So there are pictures on my Ravelry page, but this is the V-neck boxy in fingering weight. It is knit from the top down. It used 2,000 yards approximately, a little less than 2,000 yards of a fingering weight yarn.
Which was loop yin-yang fingering.
In the Kiss Kiss colorway.
And this yarn was provided.
Yes. So Loop did send us some skeins to work up at Maryland. I saw her at Maryland. Leslie didn't go to Maryland.
This makes me really happy. So, if you hate it, I will happily take it.
Oh, I like it. It does have a weird wonky stitch right there that I've got to figure out.
I can mess with that while you talk.
What's going on? But yeah, super cozy. Dragon Horde, who's itty bitty, tried it on.
Could her and her mom both fit into it? Because
probably.
I feel like
hold on, I have to show you all
this
this picture because this is really, really funny.
I mean, her facial expression doesn't help, but I mean, it does and it doesn't.
So that is her in it at SSK. She's trying to convince me to give it to her to wear as a dress, and I was like, get out of my sweater, little girl. Yeah, she's super, super sweet, and I bought some yarn from her at SSK that I cannot wait to knit up. So I think that's it. So I wrote 3 pairs of socks and a sweater since the last time I saw y'all.
That's quite a lot, my friend.
So I feel like that's pretty good.
So how are you in regards to Stash Dash?
I'm over 15K.
Jeez Louise.
Just from the spinning that I have to show you guys.
Yeah, just hold up the bag of stuff. Like,
well,
Laura's got a novel of spinning on our show notes.
It's not that. The socks are in there too.
What did
It's
you
not a
do to
ton.
this
I don't
stitch?
know. It's just weird. I'll play with it. Don't worry about
It's
it.
okay. You're talking, so I don't have anything to do.
So, in regards to spinning, I have 4 skeins to show. That's not a ton. I've shown more before. So, we'll go from singles to 2-ply. This is a single. The rest are all 2-plies. I spun this out of Into the World. Does these cool little, like, what do they call them?
Odds and ends.
Odds and ends. So it's just little short bits of fiber. And Jillian Marino does a technique in her Stupendous Singles class where you strip them down into smaller bits and then hold 2 together and make marled singles. And it's super cool. So this is 200 yards of that. There is a little bit over twist. When you do a single, you're only adding twist one direction. So they're always going to be a smidge over twisted. I'm going to do baby hats out of these, I think. And I think that most of these were silk blends, but look, it's not super over twisted.
Not at all.
So that makes me super happy. It is thick and thin in portions. I'm not the best thick single spinner ever. And when you add the marling, it kind of adds like another element to that. And you don't have to do these super skinny or super thick. It's just depending on what you're trying to do. So I'm trying to do it more often so I can be consistent. I think this is the 3rd time I've done this technique. And it won't be the last for sure. And that's around 4 ounces there. I need to tag a lot of this stuff still. Other things that I spun, also thick, but this is a 2-ply. This is Hip Strings in the Unicorn Magic colorway.
Okay, that was so pretty.
The Into the World is just, they're odds and ends. You don't know what type of fiber it is. I feel like a lot of them are silks. But this is, like I said, Hip Strings. It's 4 ounces of Unicorn Magic. It is 60% superfine merino, 20% llama, 14% merino wool, and then 6% Selena. So it's got a lot of glitter to it. It's a light pink, and then turquoise, and then silver, some white.
It's going to walk away from your house.
So it's super cute, and it is a worsted Aran bulky-ish in spots. Wait, I'm trying to get better at spinning bulky, so it is a little bit thick and thin in spots. But overall, I'm very happy with how it came out.
I am too.
Are you? Do you want it? You can have it.
I love it. I think
Okay,
it's beautiful.
it can come stay at your house.
Well,
yeah, that's better. Thank you.
it's still a little... I'm going to keep messing with it.
Okay.
It's just a
So
little...
this is staying with you.
Yay!
And then I spun some Hello Yarn. This is the one I thought you were going to go for.
I like that one too.
This is Polworth in the
Oh,
Dive
that's tightly
colorway.
Plied it is. It's gorgeous.
It is. It's a 2-ply. All the rest are 2-plies. This is 490 yards of a Polworth Falkland. Polworth from Falkland Islands. It is from Hello Yarn. This was part of her bird club last year. So it is a little bit more finely spun. It did poof, so I should remeasure it because
I
I
like the
bet
color
it's not...
distribution, the way you spun it.
Oh, so this is fractally spun.
Yeah.
That's an important thing to talk about. Fractally spun is where you divide the yarn, the fiber in half, and half has long color repeats and the other half has short color repeats because you divide that other half into thirds. So it adds a lot of like barber pulling to it. So yeah, I was really happy with how this turned out. And I should remeasure it because Polworth does tend to poof.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my pre-wash measurement minus 10%.
I've loved everything you've pulled out so far. What else you got in that bag?
I really like this, and it's totally not my colors.
Oh my god!
So, and she has a sale going on right now, and I'm tempted to buy more.
This looks commercial.
So, that's Rumpelstiltskin from Spotted Circus Alpacas.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
390 yards. It's got a gold glitter to it.
It's much richer than it's showing.
Yeah, it's a dark golds.
Let me see if I can improve the color.
It's like the color of the clover tapestry needle almost. Yeah, it's not. The camera's really blowing it out. It's really, really a dark, pretty yellow.
That's closer.
Like a gold.
Yeah, it's much richer than it's coming across.
So I think I'm going to use that. That one actually has a plan. I think I'm going to use it. There's a Kirsten Kapoor, like, mosaic shawl.
So remind me what this is, Spotted Circus Alpaca?
Spotted Circus Alpaca.
And
it's
what's
merino.
Merino.
With Stellina.
Oh.
It's like an 80-20 blend.
Well, she gets some. Get me some.
15% off, I think, right now. I'll have to double check.
There's probably a coupon with SSK.
No, this was for her anniversary, I think.
All right.
Or post SSK. I'll have to look and see.
What else do you have in that bag?
That's
you have been like pulling winners out of that.
That's it. I have some stuff that I'm still.
I know a hat trick is 3. What is it when it's 4?
I don't know. But yeah, I'm super happy with everything that I spun this past month.
That's beautiful. Laura.
So my goal for this summer, and I'm still counting like through Stash Dash. So my goal for Stash Dash was to spin 12 bats and 12 braids, and I'm at 10 braids and I think 11 bats. So I'm pretty good so far.
These should go together, right? I mean, they were spun in the same house. I really think they should stay together.
They're such different weights.
That's really gorgeous.
Yeah, I like this one. If I didn't have a plan for it, I would give it to you.
That's okay. Now I want
that
to spin it.
Bond Street shawl has like an attached edging, and I'd love to be able to get that done for my class for knitting at the estate, but we'll see. Yeah, so 3 skeins for me, 1 skein for you. I think that's how that should always work out. Especially since I'm the person doing the spinning. But you're doing some spinning too, but it's at my house, I think.
Well, I have half of it here. So this was...
My lap is so empty now. I'm going to take my sweater back.
Yeah. If I can find it. Oh, here it is. So, a couple months ago, or maybe it wasn't even a couple months, I don't even remember.
June?
Laura got a package from...
Oh, that was Easter.
Okay, from Hip Strings. I think she'd ordered something and they included...
Nope, they just sent me a fun package of Sarah's chocolate.
Because they live right close to her favorite place that makes chocolate, Sarah's.
Yep, in Pittsburgh.
And so they sent her some chocolate and then padded it with a bat, like a mini bat. And
yeah, it was around a half-ounce bat, I think.
Yeah, and so...
I gave you all the chocolate.
Because it was white chocolate.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like white chocolate.
It's not real chocolate.
It was still a very considerate
gift.
gift.
It was super nice.
And then Laura spun that little mini bat, and I whined so much because I really wanted it. Like, it was really pretty. It came out great.
And I spun it bulky 3-ply.
Yeah. And that's not how I'm spinning. So they were very kind and funny and brought me a couple of these little mini bats. And so it's Polworth, Merino, Mohair, Stellina, and Mulberry Silk.
Yeah, so she started selling hand-carded bats.
Yeah, and so it's just 2 ounces at $12, which is a very, very reasonable cost. And this is Hip Strings, again, which is Jill and Nick. And after I took a class at SSK with Maggie Casey, who is absolutely wonderful. She's just wonderful. Like, she's what I wish I could just sit and listen to her talk. You know, because she just drops knowledge without even thinking of it. So
she's amazing. And if you can take classes with her
anywhere, or
Jillian, or
JC Boggs is great.
Boggs, Faulkner. Is it Faulkner?
Boggs Faulkner, yeah. And there's several others I'm sure we're leaving out, but those are just, they pop up. It's
Sarah Anderson.
Yes, she's lovely. So this is that 2 ounces, and I'm spinning it on Majacraft Rose at Laura's. But after, so the class...
So every wheel at my house slowly becomes Leslie's wheel. I made her take her wheels out of my house, and somehow 2 of them are still there.
Yeah, but they're little electric ones. What was I going to say? Oh, so the class I took at SSK was on English versus American long draw. So what I learned...
I want to take someday.
Was that I'm not a huge fan of English long draw.
That's where you fold it back on itself?
Well,
yes?
it's... So, with American long draw, it's more controlled. And with English long draw, you pull back really quick and you let a bunch of twist in and you end up with lumps, and then you sort of pinch it off and even it out.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
But you have to go really quick and let go of so much control. I mean, I guess eventually you probably get better at it and you can control it a little bit better. But yeah, I pretty much immediately hated it. I did get a little bit better once she changed the fiber that we were using, but sort of a light bulb moment for me was when she brought a bunch of different fibers for us to try. And, you know, she only gives you a little bit at a time so you don't get stuck in one rut and you change to a different fiber. And I've really liked spinning long draw, but eventually I end up struggling, like, over time. But what she told us to do was take, like, from a bat or from combed fiber or whatever the prep is, take just a staple length of whatever the fiber is and hold it over the fold. It means you're manipulating more often because you're constantly getting, but it allows you to be much more, what's that word? Consistent.
Okay.
And for me, she made a huge, this is 2 ounces. I haven't filled a bobbin with 4 ounces this full before. Like, it really made a huge difference for me.
Super skinny for you.
Yeah, it really is. And this is all long draw. And again, only 2 ounces. Like, I'm super stoked about this.
So that'll create a super woolen yarn because
very
it's a
airy.
woolen prep and a woolen method
because
of spinning.
the bat is woolen, so that means the fibers aren't all, like, combed straight in a row. They're sort of, like, mixed up and crazy.
It's like kindergartners if you let them just loose on the playground.
So...
Or middle schoolers. In my hallway yesterday.
Yeah, I'm loving the bat. The class, a great tip from Maggie. So years ago, I feel like I'm going off on a rant, but whatever, we haven't recorded in a month, so.
Yeah, this might be a bit of a long one anyway.
Years ago, when we took the class with JC, and I forget where we went. I want to say it was Dixon, but I'm not sure.
It was Dixon.
Okay.
We went to one in Dixon. And one,
like Lori Flutterby's was there.
Yes, and then we went to one outside of St. Louis.
Okay, so it was the Dixon one. Yeah, no, it wasn't that one. This one was where we were like in a barn or something.
Yeah, that was Dixon. That's back when Dixon got like outside teachers.
So with JC years back, like for her, she helped me figure out spinning thicker.
Yeah, that was her spinning thick class.
Right, and so it was slow feet, fast hands. So that, you know, like, if you can compress it into one sentence, I can probably remember it. And so for me, spinning thicker, it's all about slowing down my feet and speeding up my hands. So with Maggie, when it came to the fibers, I struggle a lot remembering what kind of fiber works best for like a short forward draw or a long draw or that sort of thing. And so for her, she said that you just need to remember it's an opposite. So if it's a short fiber, you can use a long draw, and if it's a long fiber, you can use a short draw, like short forward or short backward. So now I'll be able to remember that because that's 4 words. I can remember 4 words. So
I cannot remember 4 words.
Anyway,
that's good to know.
That's my spinning. I managed to talk about spinning longer than Laura probably did, and I've got one thing, and it's still on the bobbin.
I love it.
That is pure talent, my friends.
So, other things. What we're reading. I'm not reading a lot. I'm hoping to find some reading time this weekend, because I do want to get back to reading some middle grade books. But I was listening on the way here to the last Alana Andrews short story before Sapphire Fire comes out at the end of this month.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that short story yet.
the Hidden Legacy.
The fourth one.
Series. Yeah. This is a novella. So the first two are full length. This is like...
The first three, right? Because there were three.
Were there three?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the third one's about her becoming a house.
Okay.
Spoiler.
So this switches it to Arabella.
Yeah.
Who's the main character in the next one as well, I believe.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, because the novella's about them planning a wedding or something, right?
It's the big wedding, and a tiara goes missing. But it also gets into the politics and shadiness of house life in general, and how people treat other people. So, yeah, that's what I'm listening to for the little limited time of reading that I've had in the past, because I was spending... Amy Florence was here for a week after SSK, which was amazing, but I hate to be like, hey, I'm gonna go read, so I need you to, like, go do other stuff. So I didn't do a ton of reading when she visited. I did do some napping, but I didn't do a ton of reading.
Nothing wrong with napping.
So, now that I'm getting back in the flow, I have so many books that came in over the summer that I want to read. So, I'm going to get back to it.
Oh, remind me to show you something on Goodreads later.
Okay.
So, I also haven't been listening, like when I was ill, I didn't want to read. Like, I couldn't focus on anything. I was very just bleh. And there were points in there, like day 7, where I was like, I'm never doing SSK again. I'm never recording a podcast. I need to look up how to dissolve the company. You know, like, it's amazing how much of your mental process can be affected by your mood. But, anyway, I've just been rewatching Star Trek The Next Generation.
Aw, there's a Picard.
I know! Trust me, Michael sent me the trailer
when
the
does it
day
come
it come
out?
It's not till next year. It's the early next year. But yeah, Picard, Patrick Stewart, who played Jean-Luc Picard, the starship captain, the main character in Star Trek The Next Generation, which ran like late 87 or 88 to the early 90s. I think I'm on like season 6 now. There's 7 seasons, and then it's DS9, and then it's Voyager.
And Next Gen was way more popular than the original Star Trek series ever was in its original airing.
Yeah, like they still, at Comic-Cons, or not necessarily Comic-Cons, but like science fiction cons, there are still panels with, you know, the original cast, Brent Spiner and Michael Dorn and Jonathan Frakes.
There's
Marina
Star
Sirtis.
Trek themselves, like, on their own conventions, too. Because they do, like, Klingon lunches and stuff.
Yeah, it's still... I don't know, it's really cool. I like it. Some things didn't age super well, but it's more technology than
I really
concepts.
like Sequest.
I never
when
watched
I was
Sequest.
that age. Which was a terrible, terrible kind of like spin-off ocean version.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was a cartoon, wasn't it?
No.
Oh.
It had Jonathan Brandis in it, and it had the guy from Jaws.
Wasn't Jonathan Brandis the one from Home Improvement?
Like, no, Ladybugs, and then a couple other things, and then he committed suicide.
Yeah, I feel like that was the one of the Home Improvement kids.
I don't think so.
Okay, well. Anyway. So yeah, I've been watching Star Trek, and then last night, I had been saving, because while we were at SSK, or right when we got back, the new Alana Andrews Innkeeper.
Oh yeah, I haven't listened to that yet. I read it as they were writing it.
Yeah, I can't do that. So I just bought the book last night and started it. I'm only like 10% into it. So
you got the book, not the audiobook, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't think the audiobook's out yet. They were having issues with readers not getting back to them and stuff like that.
Yeah. Audible's one of the places I check on Tuesdays. I'm like, what's new?
I might have you can have it so their blogs get sent to your email.
Yeah.
So
like an RSS feeder type thing.
That happens in my life.
I've been on and off listening to the We Free Men series. I think I'm on the 3rd one, but not...
Tiffany Aiken series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Tiffany Aiken series.
Which is a Terry Pratchett Discworld spinoff.
Yes. It was intended for children. But I like it a lot.
It's YA, yeah.
So, I think that's it for books. Let me move this thing so we can see. What's at the bottom?
SSK. So we went to SSK.
We didn't just go.
We ran SSK.
Yes.
And it went fairly smooth as a whole. We did, Julia Farwell Clay had a family emergency and had to not come. She had to cancel because of that.
So there was a little bit of scrambling, but Laura stepped up and took over.
Gwen did too.
Yes, took over classes and offered some similar options, and we, moved some people and made it work. Because people are very considerate and lovely.
Yes, I'm very flexible. So thank you everyone who helped me shuffle you around in your classes and took my classes and Gwen's class and had a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was lots of fun. We changed some stuff up this year.
Yeah, the market layout was different.
We opened an hour early for market.
Mm-hmm. The door prizes were different this year, the way that we did it. We gave people a lot more time to look at what the options were and to choose what they wanted to put in to try to win.
And now there's grid wall at my house.
Now there's grid wall at her house. I am so excited that things are not living at my house. You have no idea.
So I ended up driving the U-Haul van, which means that everything is at my house because Leslie was 45 minutes behind me, and her son was dog sitting Coby the day that my kennel couldn't keep her for the weekend. They were booked out, so Coby came over and dog sat.
But he left at 9:30 or 10.
Yeah, and now I don't lock my car was at Leslie's house because I left it for Michael to use because Leslie was taking her car, and my house keys are on my keyring to my car, and we did not think that through. And so I couldn't get in my house. Yeah. So I unloaded the van in the 45 minutes that Leslie has a key to my house too.
Because Coby had locked the bottom lock on her door because she's got the touchless thing, but
yeah, I have a fingerprint scanner that Michael got me for Christmas. Michael and Leslie got me for Christmas last year, but he locked the bottom, so it's fine. Except I thought I was going to pee myself.
Yeah.
But because you hold because you're there's only 15 minutes. There's only 20 minutes before I get there. It'll be fine. And then I got there and I was like, oh. And I had already started unloading the van, and I was like, well, I can't leave 5 wheels in the middle of my driveway to drive to Burger King to use their bathroom.
And we don't live in a day where we know our neighbors anymore.
Well, I know my neighbors, but they weren't home because they work during the day, and they go to church on Sundays. So, yeah. I waited, and luckily did not pee myself. And
The Rock accompanied you home.
Yeah. Gwen got us a cardboard cutout of the Dwayne Johnson.
It was very funny.
That now lives in my garage. Although my coworkers told me I should bring it up to work.
You should.
And just put it random places. Put him random places. Which is a whole nother, I could make him hold books every day, different books.
Have,
pictures.
Get a bubble that comes out from his mouth that says different things about positive reading and all that.
Yeah. There are so many things that could happen. I might do that.
I feel like we should make paper cutouts of clothes for him that you could, tab, paper doll clothes.
Oh, because he's in, his WWE finery.
Little Speedo thing, yeah.
Yeah, SSK was lots of fun. It was good catching up with people. People are always my favorite part of SSK.
I feel like we had more new people this year than we've had in a while.
I don't know.
And it was great. I mean,
we always do a lottery for SSK, and we do that to keep. While we would love it if everyone who wanted to come could come, we keep it small intentionally so that people can talk to one another and form relationships, and friendships. And so that also, a lottery system keeps it from being super cliquey because new people are coming constantly. So we like doing that. Our vendor market was amazing. Spent way too much money. You guys will see that because one of my goals for this year, and I think Leslie's as well, is to try to knit up what we bought at SSK before the next SSK. Yes. So we're trying to be better at knitting the items that we purchase, as well as using old stash But I think the sock machine will also help with that.
I want to knit, before SSK next year, I would like to knit 3 garments as gifts, like sweaters for other people.
Oh, wow.
And I've got one person in mind already, and a couple others that I'm trying to decide on.
Oh, and that Ash girl gave me her tanga because she didn't like it. This is at my house.
I didn't know that.
The purple tanga you
Yeah.
did. I was walking around saying,
Oh,
look at my
yeah,
new
that's
sweater.
right.
To like 50 people. I wore a tanga in like,
Yeah, you're
out of
right.
Knit Picks Gloss in like 100-degree weather to show it to people because it's amazing. I might wear that to work
I was
tomorrow,
disappointed
actually.
she didn't bring her wrought iron because we knit the wrought irons at the same
Yeah.
time. She knit it in a solid color rather than 2, and I was interested to see how that looks. But it was the first time we met her.
Yeah.
That Ash girl.
She's super sweet.
Yeah. She brought me some extra Nettle Grove for
Oh, yeah. She just finished another sweater out of Nettle Grove.
Elizabeth, what's her face? Westbound. It's by Elizabeth
Doherty.
something. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She sent me a picture of it
I think
today.
she just finished hers.
She did. And it's got a little more positive ease than she wanted, but she's gonna try a couple things to fix that. But anyway, so SSK, we do have dates for next year, but we're not opening signups or anything for a couple months.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in learning either when vendor applications open or when lottery entries open, you can go to supersummerknittogether.com, and there is an address, like a newsletter sign up on the right hand side.
Now, if you're on your phone, it's at the very bottom. You have to scroll
Okay.
down.
And we only send like 2 or 3 notices a year to that group of people. So
Yep.
if you are interested in knowing important dates, just sign up through that newsletter.
We need to discuss Patreon, too. So we are going to make up last month's Patreon that we
Yes.
didn't get a chance to do.
Because I was ill, and there's just no getting around it.
We're going to do it this month. So we'll have 4 Patreon events this month.
We'll have 2 VKNs. We'll have our normal one the last Sunday of the month, and then we'll have one this weekend as well.
Yep.
I have a couple of questions for Laura, and then I'll schedule it tomorrow, so you'll get a notification about it. And then we're also going to make up the fail along. We haven't quite decided what we're doing yet.
Yeah.
We're looking at some
Are we doing
some
that this
options.
weekend, too?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
We might do that next weekend.
Okay.
But I'll send out an email to all the Patreon people with all this information that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Because we're also going to get rid of a tier.
We are. That newsletter tier is not working for us.
It's a lot more trouble than we have time for.
And I've been looking at, like, the percentage of people opening them, and it's a very low percentage. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to people's spam folders or what's happening, but
I feel like if you watch the podcast, you already know all this stuff anyway.
Probably.
So we're just going to get rid of the $250 tier, or we'll change the $3 tier to the $250 tier so that people get the same or better rewards than they were getting, because we don't want to take anything away from you guys necessarily. So and if you have an idea for a tier, please let us know. We're open to other things. These were what we could think of. It just can't be an entry to win a prize, because there are rules about sweepstakes in the U.S. and people have to be able to enter without any sort of purchase. And because Patreon is you essentially donating, you can't do giveaways like that. I think that's it. Do you have anything else?
I think that's it. Stash Dash is still going on.
Yes.
It's going on through August 24th. I hope everyone's meeting their goals or exceeding their expectations, but sometimes life happens, so be kind to yourself if you're not. And I think that's about it. That's looking good, friend.
Yeah, I'm not going to alternate until I join. You think it's ready to join in the round? It's ready. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys for being so patient with us. And we'll see you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.